And now for something completely different. Also museum worthy for a different reason. And while Mr. De Quisto's guitar was an in-person trip to a museum, this is a visit from an old friend. Early in my career, in the mid-1990s, I met BOŽO at, if not the first, one of the first Healdsburg guitar festivals, way back in the Paleo-Terrific. And for reasons I have no idea, he took a liking to me, and we spent quite a bit of time talking. I mean, I didn't understand this. I didn't know what to make of it or do it. I just know, here's this amazing person, because he was an amazing man, who single-handedly created this legacy in a time where few people were handcrafting guitars. You know, you could count them on two hands in the 1970s. And we saw each other, I guess, every year at, you know, one or two guitar shows. And it was always, it was like visiting your uncle, that quirky uncle. Anyway, he was an amazing guy, and as you could see, he had a unique style. This guitar is 180 degrees opposed to the De Quisto. Yeah. Oh, interesting. So he's got reinforcement on both sides, right here, which makes sense because we can't ask him because he's not here. I wonder why he's got that here. My hypothesis is, as with the sound hole on a guitar, this aperture allows the top to oscillate in uncontrollable ways, and by reinforcing it, it stabilizes this area. Here, this is fairly rigid anyway, but there's a lot of movement here, especially across an 18-inch lower bout. This guitar is 50% heavier, I'm guessing, but considerably heavier than the De Quisto. And you can hear it in the voice. This is a much more traditional Gibson archtop kind of a voice, which isn't bad, it's what it is. That was the style. Music is fashion, and the instruments that were crafted to address that fashion also were their own fashion. And at the time, this was the fashion. You know, the aesthetic is something else. Wow. Yes. You know, even his approach to the plate is very different than Mr. De Quisto's. You know, and I look at this guitar, and knowing BOŽO, there is his signature hallmark look. There's his approach to the craft. Again, at a time where there was no internet, there was no YouTube, there were no guitar dealers. He was forging new trails on his own. And then there was the cultural influence that he brought with him. I think he was from Serbia originally, was he? Yeah. So, I mean, it was a long time ago, I'm trying to remember. But, you know, it's that melding of new frontiers and his own cultural background, which is like an amalgam in this instrument. So different than any other, you know, domestic North American archtop. During my repair days, I had the fortune to work on several French hand-carved archtop guitars and German. And this is much more in that school, just looking at the way the plate was carved. Although those instruments, the French and the German one, were much lighter, built in the violin tradition. Yeah, I love this. it's a trip down memory lane and a visit to the museum all at the same time. Yeah, it's fabulous.